Welcome to Nigeria, land of over 200 million people, over 500 languages. Nigeria is home to some of the loudest, most flamboyant wedding parties in the world. We know how to throw it down.
Mun zo da daloli, mun zo da euro, mun zo da pound sterling.
Yes, mommy.
Ba abin da ba mu zo da shi.
Ghana and pounds sterling.
A Nigerian wedding is a kaleidoscope, 1,000 colours, 1,000 stories. The Yoruba bride with her gili defying both gravity and logic. The Igbo bride changing outfits faster than a runway model. The Hausa bride's hands painted in henna that whispers ancient stories. The Edo bride crowned in coral beads that can give you big muscles. Each tribe brings its own magic, its own marriage rituals, and trust me, the differences are not subtle. Weddings here are not just ceremonies. They are productions, guest lists of 500, 800, even 1,000 people, because apparently intimate doesn't mean small. But it wasn't always like this.
Honestly, let's look back 24 years ago. In fact, let me look back 36 years ago when I was getting married. Weddings were so much simpler. They were much more of a family occasion. It was really about who in your family or who in your friends could do what. And the idea of having an external person coming to take charge at such a personal occasion was totally, unacceptable.
1992 when we started was basic. Then you had parties basically by the roadside, on a field somewhere. You guys just sit anyhow, just tables and glasses with your drinks, plates, the food in the coolers on the table. Anybody can serve, anybody can go there, you help them serve. Call your auntie, call your friends, they help you serve.
A wedding MC back in the days was a proper guy. And the program was tailored. You can't go out of the way. And you always had this chairman who was your boss. If he tells you to jump, you ask him how high. It was more formal, more streamlined than what it is now.
When I started, there was no arrangement really, because I started because my mother was the one doing the drinks, and then I wanted her to sell. So when people have a new baby in their house, I will go to them and I tell them that my mother sells soft drinks. Can I bring to you?
Back then, there was not so much structure. But the beautiful thing about this era I'm talking about is we had the likes of Tara Sage. I'm going to call her Tara Sage because then she was still Tara Sage. Now Tara Feladro Toye. And another brand I can vividly remember was Banke Meshida, who is BM Pro. And I believe, if I am 100% correct, that was back in her Unilag days as well. So these were the two people in the makeup industry I can vividly remember. And I'm talking as far back as 1996.
I got into hairstyling work when it was only Ghanaians, like male, like a man in a woman's world. The salon work, it was only from Ghanaians. So once you're a male and you're a hairstylist, you must be a Ghanaian. So I am part of the people that actually smashed it, so I'm of that era.
27 years ago, there was no wedding industry. We just found ourselves being called upon to help people look beautiful. And for me, I took it with both hands. I seized that opportunity. I created bridal looks that were first beautiful and then looks that would stand the test of time.
I mean, when I started, it was just all about, I wanted to just help people take the stress off when they were planning the event. I didn't even imagine, I couldn't even fathom what the industry has become now. It was just a case of, Bola is getting married. Well, let me help you take the stress off. There was never anything about, creating an experience.
The format before was that during events, people would get an MC and then invite a comedian to do stand-up within the events. So comedians were not considered good hosts or anchors for events, so we were just always brought into feeling, when the event is getting boring, the MC will make people entertain, and we're able to learn from the greats who were hosting at that time. I'm talking about the BC Olatilos, the Erin Zekus, the Uncle Sonny Rabo, so many of them, even Ebere Young, who is still very much on the beat. And of course, Ali Baba was like the pioneer for us in comedy.
I remember then it was just my friend, Molara Kirsch of Just Weddings and Funke Bokno of Zafaya Events. And at the time, people were actually struggling to grasp the concept of what event planning was, or why should I hire an event planner?
As at the time I came into the industry, most of the people that were already in the industry, in terms of photography, in terms of wedding photography, they were more or less like documentary photographers, journalistic photographers, whereby they have been called to literally just document it, not to photograph the art of the wedding. Is actually to document it. So literally you'll be seeing images like Atiku shaking Obasanjo, Obasanjo shaking Atiku, Obasanjo shaking Atiku in the presence of Yar'Adua.
I started out about 20-something years ago, and I took interest in photography because I had a colleague called Shea Bodilossi. And I saw that he was covering events and stuff. So I asked him about it. One way or the other, long story, I'm here today.
Let's go way back. It's really way back. In fact, I'm trying to remember. I think it was a non-paid job for a friend. I had a camera. Back then we used to use film. I had a camera, and I just came and I took a couple of pictures for the guy and his wife, and they loved it. It was fun.
My very first wedding, it was Yinka and Julia's wedding. I was so excited to do that wedding. We were all in the choir together, so most of us in the choir were the ones that were in that wedding. And we had quite a number of Easter now, like Chioma and Kate Shaw, and even Sammy of blessed memory. Most of them were in the bridal train. It was fun.
At my first wedding, the chairman, this was back in the days when chairmen used to think that it was their duty to MC the event. The chairman of event used to feel that the MC's job was to bring in the bride, the groom, take the opening prayer, and then introduce them. And then the chairman, will now take over the wedding from there. They will do the cutting of the cake, they will call the bride and the groom to dance, they will do all that all till the end of the event.
Then something changed. Somewhere between the family cookout and the luxury ballroom, the Nigerian wedding got a makeover. From the exquisite fresh floral decor of Uche Majekodumi of Newton and David to Tara Feladrote's wedding day beauty transformation to Astoria Catering's tastefully made and served menus that was fit for the 1% of Nigerian weddings, and Dili Momodu's Ovation magazine pages that took our celebrations to the world, the once simple family affair transformed into a statement of taste, class, and sometimes tourism, thanks to the visionaries who saw what weddings could become and began the transformation.
The very first wedding was Mubarak Adigua and Sholabi at the Adigula house. That was my first wedding, huge number. I was working with 1,500 guests. It was 2 weeks apart, and I was working with already known giants in the industry, such as Mrs. Uche Majekodumi as a decorator, the bonnets for me, MBK himself, the groom had a photo studio, cocktails in and out, and small chops. I forget the names. A lot of people. I was scared, but I didn't show it. I went for it because I was encouraged by my old friend to go for it, and I could do it.
Back in my local church, I started as a drummer. You know, our local white garment church, Eli, you are, So back then, I used to play the drums as a teenager. Then I played the piano, I played the guitar. You know, a conventional white garment church, we usually have access to musical instruments. Although we couldn't play those instruments professionally, but we could play for, you know, isokalele, mi, ma, mo, and all those things. So that transited me into playing drums professionally.
We have specialists for everything. Proposal planners, lighting designers, content creators for your behind-the-scenes moments, and of course, the ever-present wedding hashtag. The village still comes, but now they are guests, not the workforce. The simple has become the spectacular, the intimate, Instagrammable. Yes, we said it. Instagrammable. So, how did we get here?
Weddings then was simple, intimate, less expensive, with inside the house, and didn't have all the storytelling, which is about family and who you're getting married to. But now is on a larger scale, beautiful. So something you look forward to, and also bringing to life your dream, your imaginations as a bride, or what you want it to be. Because then it was a parent deciding what you want to do. Now we have the bride and the groom having a say.
I discovered that I had eyes for beautiful space, decoration, you know, and just decided to give it a shot. And not thinking about money initially, you know. But by the time we put in our creative juice, somebody decided to pay us one big money like that. We're like, is this how this thing is?
I call myself the accidental caterer. When I started with Ofada rice. I'm from a village called Ofada. A lot of people don't know that. I'm from a village called Ofada, and that's why I'm a Ofada boy. And my great-grandfather was the first farmer of Ofada rice. So there's a lot of generic history when it comes to Ofada rice.
You know, I usually celebrate my birthdays, you know, I'll just call a few people around to eat. And I do all the cooking myself, you know, drinks, food, snacks. And everybody goes like, wow, Zena, did you invite a caterer? I'm like, no, I did everything myself, you know. And the planning of the event, you know. So people are like, you could do event management, you could be a caterer, you could be, I'm like, how can I be all those things, you know? But alhamdulillah, today I'm an event planner, I'm a decorator, I'm a caterer, I'm a gift guru.
I think I was very lucky. I joined the industry at a very pivotal time. It was at a time where event planners were becoming a norm and not something out of the ordinary or strange. Speaking to someone about serving your drinks and trusting that they could do it properly had also just started to become a thing.
At that time, there was nothing like grills or barbecue in the wedding industry. It was more of small chops, and everybody just graded everything as small chops. So I began to push to tell wedding planners that, look, you need to separate this. Because sometimes I'll just get a call and someone will tell me, you do small chops. I say, I don't do small chops, that I do only grills. And they'll ask me, what is that? And the chicken on top of the puff-puff, is it not grills? I said, no, that's not grills.
Ariel started more like actually an hobby. I started my own wedding, that was 16 years ago. But at that time, I didn't know I was going to go fully into it. It was just a passion that I had for gift wrapping, and I really wanted to wrap my own, wedding gifts. So after then, your very first customers are usually your family members, and family members started reaching out to me, oh, you can help us do this, you can help us do this. And I just looked back and I was like, I can actually make a business out of this.
I got introduced to it in 2012 by accident because my friend just reached out to me to plan her wedding. After I had that experience, I was truly blown away. Why? Because I saw myself being in charge of a project and I saw the end result directly, the impact it made in people's lives. People were happy, you know, I was able to create memories, and at the end of the day, a lot of people came back to me and they were just so happy.
So at the time that I started, I didn't know that the business that I started existed. You understand what I'm saying? So I just started like a novice, and I didn't know there was an industry. I didn't know there's a wedding industry or an event industry. I just wanted to do business at a time. And we started, and then it took us about 18 months to get the first business. And after the first business, we got another job on that event.
Okay, so the first wedding we actually did was my sister's wedding. And she was magnanimous enough to even pay us because we didn't have the equipment then. And I wanted to put my whole life, heart into it, just to make something significant out of it. And of course, it wasn't for the profit's sake, but it was out of passion to show people what, we can do. And that particular singular event, I think, gave us about 5 different weddings.
I kind of stumbled on it. I was laid off from my 9 to 5, and I was bored. I was looking for something to do, and we had this. I knew a lady that does events for the family. So, and I just took an interest. I was like, look, I can help you. You can do this better. You can do that. So that's how I got into it, just helping her to just be better. So that's how we stumbled on it.
The point, I had a friend, Collar Smith from Michael Smith Events. He had reached out for me to do paper cards for him, paper invitations at the time. I was working with ID card printers, so for me it tied in, and I felt like it was something I could try. And that's where access cards started from.
Our weddings became a spectacle of love and art. The decor, the fashion, the food, they became cultural exports.
In 2009, it was a Chapman. Everybody just wanted a Chapman. He used to come with these beer mugs, with a slice of cucumber in it and the white and pink straw. That was it. So people like us that came with, a slimmer, less cake-looking glass, they were like, no, my drink is not complete.
Everybody knows that I'm big on everything big. I do big stages, big, centerpieces. In fact, when you see my decor, you will always know, especially if it's a wedding, it has to be big.
I want to believe that my company is probably the first company that started using bags for cocktails in Nigeria. I stand to be corrected.
It was something I used to do that was different. I was really interested in creating wow experiences. I was ready to do whatever it took at my event to make my event trend, to make my event stand out, to make my event, that small little wedding in Surulere, look like it was larger than life. So I literally invested my time and money in ensuring that, I created jaw-dropping experiences at these events, which is what people now notice. Who is this lady?
For me, let me use myself as a case study. I had to learn how do they do it in the BBO land. When it comes to Benue, Benue, Igala, and all that, how do they do it in Hausa land? And beyond the shores of Africa, now we have interracial marriages. We have Chinese coming to Nigeria to get married. We have maybe, just name it, from the Western world. And the interesting thing now is that even when our own son is getting married to an American lady, the American lady wants our own traditional way of doing it.
The typical northern wedding is filled with culture and beauty. It depends on the preference, the status, or maybe royal background. Okay? Like a typical royal wedding goes for 8 days, 7 days. It depends because we have the DD, we have the ENA, you have the Awangwenchi, you have the Kamu, you have the dinner from the bride side, dinner from the groom side, we have the Yinibiki, we have the K Amaria. So it depends on your preference.
Everything that would happen at an Igbo traditional wedding, which is from this, so usually, okay, so you start with knocking on the door, the introduction, which had been done. You know, the groom's family, a few of them would go to the bride's family, indicate their interest that, they would like to introduce themselves and they've sent something in their house that they're, and yeah, so there's just an exchange that goes on, the families knowing each other. And then they give them another date to come back for what we call the Ikwaka, and which is also the same day that the dowry is paid. And that's the traditional wedding day, literally.
But the major weddings we do have in the north don't exceed 4 days. In these 4 days, a bride is expected to do her henna, which is the first day of the wedding, preparation of the wedding. The bride has to make her hennas, that is the henna for the hands, and celebrate it with other young maidens like her, which are her friends. They celebrate and make that day the first part.
Big love comes with a big bill, and someone somewhere is cashing out. Welcome to the Nigerian wedding economy. Once upon a time, weddings were run by aunties with jotters and prayers. Today, they are powered by an entire industry.
I don't want to say like I saw the future, but I saw a whole lot of businesses coming into the wedding industry. A whole lot of businesses, mainly because if you look at it as far back as 2010, 2011, the folks that were getting married, their parents did not have large weddings. But guess what? You had people having large weddings who would in turn have to plan weddings for their own children.
The wedding industry is one of Nigeria's most dynamic microeconomies because it doesn't just employ the event planner or the photographer. Things people like the carpenters, the branders, the electricians, the florists, the support people. And I feel that a single wedding in Nigeria can engage between about 20 to 50 businesses at times. It depends on the scale, from decorators to transporters. And if you multiply that by the tens of thousands of weddings that takes place every year across the country, the ripple effect becomes massive.
The wedding industry is very large. I won't speak about drinks yet. I'll speak about the entire thing, from decoration to the sound, to the stage, to the lights, everything basically, and they're not cheap stuff. You get what I'm saying? People also have tried to invest their own funds in those things to make money. And the point is, because of innovations, they have to keep introducing new things, and these things don't come cheap. If you go to China, they're very, very expensive.
In Nigeria, wedding is not just a party. Let's just start there. It's an economy on its own. So every wedding promotes a culture. It shows like social status of everyone in the society. It's also how money moves economically in the local, stratosphere. So you can see like a caterer, a makeup artist, like each and every small minuscule vendor is employed. They have what to do. Their hands are, So I would just say that every wedding, it satisfies a dream. It funds a business, and it just moves the economy globally. Like every single event that you have puts money in the pockets of youths and, enables them to grow without actually having. So anybody who just has a skill and is skilled at it, the wedding industry is a good place for you to just like grow your business.
It's a thriving industry. It's a whole supply chain. The event industry is a supply chain, from caterers to drinks people to the baker so it's lucrative. Every day you wake up and you have customers coming to patronize your business. So I would advise anybody that wants to go into it to go into it. I don't know about the money making aspect of it, but it's lucrative.
The event industry as a whole in Nigeria, it's more or less like a global village. There's so many things that even the people that we are trying to copy cannot do, because we will take just a seed and then we plant it and explode. Like, you know, the way Nigerians would have parties.
Wedding is like a cultural tourism, because wedding is not just like everybody think it is in the wedding industry, but a global movement where people travel. You know, you bring a group of people from different cultures, and then when you come for a wedding, like in Lagos right now, you experience the nightlife, the historic destinations. Even some of the churches are part of our tourism assets, like the Christ Cathedral Church in my arena. St. George Aroloya is one of the oldest churches in Lagos, you know. So wedding itself is like a cultural tourism.
Nigerian weddings aren't just celebrations. They are productions, fashion shows, art installations, Instagram campaigns. Our style is loud and over the top, but our people love it, and the world loves us for it. Welcome to the Wedding Lookbook, where every detail is designed to stun.
When it comes to bridal styling, yes, I remember Enthis used to have a bridal store. So we used to style brides. We used to sell wedding dresses, wedding accessories. So what we called it then was a one-stop shop. Because then, some of the weddings I would do, I would see the wedding dresses my bride would want to wear. And I didn't think it looked right. And for you to tell somebody, that what they're wearing is, you need to have options for them. So that got me into the business of wedding styling.
Before we came into the industry, a lot of people used to go and sew their suit for. We, again, changed it because if you want same suit for 10 people, we're ready to give it to you off the shelf. The time now came that, like people that decided to call it a bespoke suit. It's bespoke suit actually make it so for you to wear. And but I think people are coming back to ready to wear again.
It took forever for people to understand that, I am not a hairdresser. People that can do those things, but I'm a stylist. This is what I major. This is my major, is to style brides. And I think it's around that 2013, 2014. And that's when I noticed that, okay, you know what? This has come to stay.
Now, Nigerian weddings have themes, concepts, mood boards that could rival Fashion Week presentations.
Just before we started, I don't think there was anything. There was attention that was paid. You just see brides getting married. People were doing ball gowns, most especially. The Igbo brides, once they've gotten their judge, that is it. The Ashoke brides, the Yoruba brides, once they have like the Ashoke fabric, they do like the regular Victoria neckline, and that was it. But now, because stylists are involved, like not just me, I know there are amazing stylists, not just in Nigeria, outside Nigeria. We have changed the entire fashion industry. I'm sure every Saturday it's like you're carrying your phone to see what this bride is going to look like, what that bride is going to look like.
The industry is going beyond just retail, just come, you buy and you go. We're going into experiences now. That's where the future is an experience. It's beyond just one day events. For example, previously you had traditional wedding day and then the white wedding, and that was it, right? Now you have a lot of people are getting to do what is called the registry wedding, the traditional wedding, and then the white wedding. Of course, you still have the introduction, which you've done a couple of months or weeks before all of this.
Every wedding is a story waiting to be told through color palettes, floral arrangements, and carefully curated aesthetics.
It all starts with a phone call. Tony, I'm coming to see you. There is good news. My daughter is getting married. And we have to start planning the Ashwebi. In fact, now, it has even evolved to a mood board. But in the early days, we just wanted what the bride side and the groom side, what the Ashwebi ladies will wear, what the mother of the day, what the father of the day.
Before, it was used to just be timed. I'm sure that you
will not forget the times when your dad will be honking outside, your mom will be stressing herself to try to tie baby, and then she'll say, and the woman was sweating and be frustrated. I know how many people ahead. So that was the normal at that point in time. So it was very obvious that something had to be done, but we didn't know who or what was going to bring any change. If you know, at one point in time where Igbo women used to wear their head, it used to be like it was sitting on their head. It was because they would have got to tie it in the market or somewhere, and then the next day when they want to wear it, their head won't be able to fit it. So they just then get the thing on the front of their head like it was a style. So that was those were the things that we were seeing.
Yeah, so I always tell people that, number one, there are no two type of events. Secondly, based on your caliber or your person, people's expectations would always be there. So if you are someone that is a high flyer, a socialite, or someone that, you are always at every party, people would expect that there is a standard that should come from you. And if you're someone that is very low-key, maybe just a regular basic banker, people's expectation would also based on the level of your expectation. Some people just want it very simple and quiet, and some people want it very, loud.
The fashion competition is silent but fierce. But what's a stunning wedding if nobody captures it? This is where you find the photographers and videographers, the storytellers with cameras.
Well, couples' expectations, talking of photography, result or delivery, it's all about trend for some couple. And these people, they go online, they show you pictures of what they want. Some of them, they want their contemporary to cover the event. So these days, you see Photonemy really capturing weddings from or on behalf of the parents, while the couples pick whatever trending photographer there is that fits to their expectation, which is fine. The expectations relative to then is higher now. But I can still tell you that despite what is going on, despite the trend, some couples are so traditional that what they want is good imaging of their weddings. They don't care what is trending.
So when you book a content creator for a wedding, there are so many things you get. First of all, the bride gets to be free. A content creator is that playful person, that person that brings it behind the scene feel, that person that makes the bride relax, that person that makes the bride playful with her bridesmaids, that person that makes the groom playful with the groomsmen. That's why sometimes you see this trend of bridesmaids doing something fun or groomsmen doing something fun. So when you bring content creator to the event, you have the fun of the event. You understand? Everybody's relaxed, so it's not all serious. Everybody's still relaxed. Then secondly, there are some brides that have people overseas. They have friends that want to live the moment. And when it comes to living the moment, it's always sweeter when it's that moment. So when a content creator comes in your wedding, they make sure they shoot your wedding, they edit it and post real time, so that even the person that cannot attend your wedding will be able to relive that moment.
No food, no wedding. At a Nigerian wedding, you can skip the vows, forget the rings, or even cancel the DJ. But running out of food is one mistake you should never make. That's a big scandal. Because at Nigerian weddings, abundance isn't optional, it is a must.
A Nigerian wedding is not complete without someone from the bride's family or from the groom's family complaining, "We own jail too." See, people usually underrate jollof rice until you go to a Nigerian wedding and see elderly man, see you fighting because of jollof rice.
I must commend Astoria. When honor is due, honor is due. I must commend Astoria. She was a yardstick that was used for a lot of measurements.
I remember then that we go to China, we'll bring things, we'll bring plates on plates, So we started changing the face with table setting. But let me say I'm one of the first few people that started using plates on plates, 3 sets plates for events.
Two of the people I saw in industry when I was growing, I think they started in the late 90s, were Laredo and Saito, small chops, They were the first people we saw on the wedding magazines, on the wedding planner magazines, where they display. When I started, I could
beat my hand on my chest that I was one of the first people who started doing barbecue with small chops. Because when I went around parties then, they used to fry the chicken, they fry the meat. And being a pit master, I said, what can I add to make mine different? And that was when we started grilling and doing small chops with the grill. At first, people were like, no, you are too expensive. What's making your own different from the next person? I said, look, ma, we grill, we don't fry.
I love the fact that it has blossomed and bloomed into that evolution of color and grandeur. Doesn't matter, the wedding doesn't have to be big, but the details, what you want, how you want it to look, the aesthetic is very clear. And it's one of the things I enjoy, with my team, we think to ourselves, what's our aesthetic when we're doing this event? We want to align with the aesthetic, and it's been a great journey over the years to see.
I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll go show. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard Adache Flight 1521. This is your captain after hours by CIO, and my co-pilot is Hype Man, the Disruptor, MC Frank. And we have some information for you about your flights today. Our flight time today will be approximately 4 hours, or how the Lord decides. And our estimated time of arrival to Highness City is when we get there, though we are aware some passengers are already on their way. You are guaranteed to have unimaginable fun during your flight with DJ IB. With DJ IB on the wheels of steel, there will be no need to fasten your seatbelts because this is a full groove cruise and body movement is ensured. Our purser is Exquisite Events. The weather en route should be mostly good, but expect some major tequila showers. For interesting sights, if you look to your left, you will see our unique shot tree with yummy fruits of vodka, whiskey, rum, all for your enjoyment, of course, with the assistance of the Shots Angels. We thank you for choosing our company as your Groove Flight airline today, and we wish you a pleasant and groovy flight. Now let us raise the fun to infinity.
Lights, camera, ceremony. A Nigerian wedding is now more than joining two people together in marriage. It's showbiz, complete with a cast, a soundtrack, dramatic entrances, and an audience that came ready to perform. Welcome to the greatest entertainment you never bought a ticket for.
Before I came into the industry, there were live parties, there were amazing after parties. Obviously, like I said, there were amazing event planners that were doing great things, but I dared to shatter the ceiling.
Aside the fact that sometimes you may have population explosion, you were expecting the client, for example, was expecting 500 people, and suddenly 1,000 people show up. Somehow you have a disorganized arrangement, and as a master of ceremonies, it is a lot of work on your part to try to get everybody's attention. So people are standing, so people are sitting. You can't capture everybody's attention. You want to get the attention of the couple, or you want to get the attention of the celebrant. It's quite difficult because everybody is looking for, they are trying to sort out their new guests.
If you see people actually dancing at your events, you have done well. Especially Nigerians, because we just like to sit down and just be chilled. But when you do events outside the country, sometimes you see everybody really dancing. They don't even wait. By the time just hear, and if it's now a Nigerian music that they don't hear often, just play Flavor song or Whiskey or Davido, you just see everybody, dancing. But in Nigeria, to get them to dance, to be honest, if you can be a vendor and do well in Nigeria, can do well anyway.
Live bands don't just play songs, they create soundtracks for joy.
We built this industry, like our sector, without any blueprint. There's no blueprint. We had to learn on the job.
faced all kinds of rejections. We dealt with unstable income, and we still had to show up. We showed up and delivered excellence. So that resilience at that time bred innovation. Nigerians don't play with celebrations. We turn weddings into carnival. And then there's no better time to be a musician or be an entertainer than now.
Behind every perfect wedding photo is a disaster that almost happened. Behind every flawless ceremony is someone who held it together when everything threatened to fall apart. This is what they don't post on Instagram. Things can go wrong, and they mostly do.
The mother of the bride, please don't be angry, just in case you watch this. So the mother of the bride insisted that she wanted to use Unilag canopies because she was a professor in Unilag and everything. And we had advised against it. But why we advised against it was not even what happened. We had advised against it because the Unilag canopies were not nice and white and clean. You know, they were those red and green type of canopies. But she insisted and everything. So we said, okay, no problem. On that day, everything was set up, everything was nice, event had started, and it was a traditional engagement. And the groom was, they said, Emo Kowole, and the groom was dancing in and everything. And this wind, I don't know where the wind came from. It was so bad. The wind took off the canopy where the bride and groom were supposed to sit. The wind took off the canopy where the guests were sitting, and it was disastrous.
I don't think I've ever shared this. I remember there was a wedding we went to do, and after the bride finished dancing, you know, she was supposed to sit down for her pictures, and then she suddenly could not breathe. And, you know, everybody was like, what's going on? What's going on? She was gasping for breath, and she was like, I can't breathe. You cannot breathe. Okay? You know, her mom was so scared. Her father, everybody, I'm like, God.
That's a very interesting crisis. The caterer that was supposed to come and serve thought the event was next week, and so there was no food. There was no food at that wedding, and so at that point, of course, by the time we got when my team said, madam, the caterer thought it was next week.
We've traced the journey, seen the chaos, celebrated the beauty. Now, the final question. What comes next?
Weddings are timeless. Weddings are forever. Weddings are not going to stop anytime soon. There are different categories of weddings. There are people that are just going to go to the courthouse and get married, and then there are people that will wait 1 year because they want to have a grandiose, all-out throwdown.
The traditional rites that bind families together, the blessings from elders, the moments two families become one, the music that makes everyone move. These are the foundations. What holds even when trends change. But some things need to go.
I always worry that maybe we focus too much on the weddings and not on the marriage. And I always say to people, just remember there's life after the wedding.
Luxury and the amount of money you spent on something are two different things. That notion of the more expensive, the more luxurious is a wrong notion. That is not to say that luxury is cheap, right? But it does not mean that because you spent $1 million on your wedding, it's a luxury. It might actually look ghastly.
In a way, the glamorization has given couples unrealistic expectations. It has made them think Pinterest, and they are not putting the Pinterest look with the realism of what the vendors within their city and within their budget can afford. With all of this, I'm saying I would stand for people doing weddings and celebrations that are unique to them, as opposed to the glam or looking to trend. If you do something unique to you, you invariably trend.
One thing I do know is change is inevitable. What we just need to keep on doing is to just ensure that we do not lose our essence in the bid to create something new all the time. But of course, we know technology. Technology is doing a lot. It's going to make the industry better. It's enhancing the industry. So creativity, innovation, reinvention, rebranding, never forgetting your end goal. The end goal is what? To dominate the event industry. End goal, to be the all-inclusive event company. End goal.
The Nigerian wedding industry will adapt. It always has. From family compounds to luxury halls, from simple ceremonies to billion-naira productions. One thing remains constant: our ability to celebrate love loudly, proudly, and unapologetically. The pioneers of this industry built something that raised the standard. They have created opportunities and shown the world what Nigerian celebrations look like. Proved that our culture, our joy, our way of honoring love deserves its place on every global stage. The Nigerian wedding story isn't finished. It's still being written by every couple who chooses forever, by every family that celebrates them, and by every vendor who makes it possible. At the center of it all, one thing endures: love.